Hey everybody, I'm the Taco Artist, and welcome to a very exciting vlog where I went to the making of Harry Potter's studio tour in London, an interactive experience that contains all of the sets and props from the movies. This was definitely the highlight of my trip to England, which, if you didn't know, this is part of my mini-series of all the vlogs for my trip to England and Poland. If you'd like to see the other vlogs in the series, click on the eye icon in the top right corner. Now in this vlog, I won't just be covering this exhibit, because while I was in England and Poland, I stumbled across 3 little unofficial Harry Potter pop-up shops run by fans. Now, I just want to say thank you so much to my dad for taking me here. This is something I've been wanting to go to since I was a little kid, and it meant a lot being able to finally go. I wouldn't have been able to accomplish this childhood dream without him, so thanks, Dad. You're awesome. But wait! Before we get into the fun, because we're talking about Harry Potter, let's address the elephant in the room. This should go without saying, considering I'm part of the LGBT+ anyway, but I do not support J.K. Rowling and obviously disagree with her hateful views. It's a shame that she's using her platform on Twitter to just be very mean and hateful, so to all the trans people watching, remember that you guys are valid and awesome. This video is just gonna focus on all the creative people, not J.K. Rowling, who brought the movies to life, like the set designers, actors, etc. Because even if she's not being a great person right now, I still think it's good to value and appreciate the work that the other people who did on all the movies. Now, I won't mention her for the rest of the video, but I thought it was important to say this, and I'd like to keep the comments free of all the horrible things JK has said, so let's try to keep things focused on the other people who made these movies, and let's keep the comments clean. So, with that serious stuff out of the way, let's start off this magical journey with looking into the shops I stumbled across on my trip. Now, I was surprised when I stumbled across the first shop, but I didn't expect to find 3. One was in Poland, one was in York, England, and another was in a mall I went to in England. All 3 were playing Harry Potter music and were all unofficial, ran by fans. It was really fun walking in there and seeing employees dressed up, and it really looked like a fun job. You could really tell that these shops had a lot of love and care put into them because they were all decorated to fit the theme, and had a lot of custom-made props to set the vibes. Honestly, I was surprised at how much Harry Potter stuff was on this trip. Like, not just these Harry Potter shops and the Harry Potter tour experience I went to. Like, just in random shops, there would be so much Harry Potter stuff. And it just really made me happy to see all of this stuff on my trip. It really took me back to when I was super into Harry Potter when I was a kid growing up. All these fan-made shops reminded me of an elementary school I went to, where our school library was Harry Potter themed. And I don't have any photos or anything, and I actually looked into this, and unfortunately I can't find any photos of this online, but it was really cool and made the library way more exciting. The highlight of the library was there was these handmade life-size figures of Harry, Ron, and Hermione as kids from the first movie, and it was awesome. Now, I've loved Harry Potter ever since I was little. I haven't read all the books, but I have seen the movies hundreds of times. Recently, I rewatched all the movies with someone who never saw the movies ever. They never read the books, they never saw the movies, nothing. So they went in completely blind. And let me just say, that was just such a fun experience, and it was just so exciting getting to experience the movies with someone who, like, previously had no interest in Harry Potter and just, like, ended up really enjoying it. And I think the best part is that I was so surprised that somehow they went all these years without getting spoiled. Like, they didn't even know basic things like who Hagrid was. They didn't know plot points. They weren't spoiled on anything.
So it was just so fun binging them all again with someone seeing them for the first time and seeing their reactions and seeing them like grow to really like the movies. When I was a kid, there were 3 things that I loved, like were my all-time favorite things. Zelda, Pokemon, and Harry Potter. Those are the 3 things I absolutely loved, and even though I have other franchises I like more now, so Harry Potter isn't as up there as it used to be, it still has a special place in my heart. As a kid, I remember how I dressed up as Hermione several times for Halloween, or how I would replay the Harry Potter games over and over again, even though I never actually beat them. I have memories of being at my grandfather's old computer that barely ran anything, and I would play the first 3 games on PC. I've played those games so many times, but I was so small I would always get stuck and not figure out how to beat the first 2. And the 3rd one, I got scared of the Dementors, so I never beat it. And then all the other games, like on Wii and stuff, I would also get stuck on. Funnily enough, speaking of me, like, dressing up as Hermione, when I was really small, like, I think, like, 5 years old, I went to a wedding wearing Harry Potter glasses. I was in a little dress, like a formal dress for the wedding. I was the flower girl, and I had the freaking Harry Potter glasses on. And so a lot of relatives and people I didn't meet actually thought I wore glasses. But no, I just wore them for fun. If you're watching this video, I assume you like Harry Potter too, so what's your favorite movie from the series? Mine will always be Prisoner of Azkaban. It has a lot of my favorite tropes, like I love the time traveling, the werewolf part, and the overall story and vibe of the movie. It also introduces some pretty interesting characters and just good twists in it. I've seen the first 3 movies the most out of the whole series, but I've probably seen Azkaban like 10 times more compared to the other movies.
Now then, without further ado, let's start the exhibit. So the outside of the place already did a great job at setting the scene and starting to get you immersed in everything, because they had the chess statues from the first movie outside. It did bother me a bit that they were outside though, as over time with weather and such, those statues will go through wear and tear, which is unfortunate. But it kind of surprised me just how big the statues were and how, like, they're actually made out of, like real metal. Like, they're actually well crafted, and that was a really nice surprise. Now, when you walked into the place, you were greeted with Harry Potter music and this huge dragon above your head. It's difficult to show just how huge this thing was on video, but it was incredible. There was a food court and a shop at the front entrance, but we didn't go to either of those. At the start of the experience was an interactive waiting line where there were posters and things to look at while waiting in line. We were all handed a little passport where there were stamp stations mentioned throughout the experience that you could try and collect. After waiting in line, we walked into a room that I couldn't film. It had some cool videos introduced by the main three, some fans, and a nice little video to get you into the mood of the experience.
It says Harry Spectacles, but nothing's there. Yeah, it says it's one of the first pairs, and then there's nothing there. Someone stole it. I think someone did.
After that was done, it opened up into the Great Hall.
Welcome to Hogwarts, and give yourself a gentle push for me.
Now, this was just incredible. Like, this felt like an experience in a dream. It was just, man, it was so wild to be in a place I had seen in the movies hundreds of times. And I got a real perspective on just how big or small things were. I can now watch Harry Potter and say that I've been there in the Great Hall, which is pretty cool. We had some time to look around and take pictures before moving on. And this was just such a great introduction to the experience. The Great Hall is one of my favorite settings in the whole movie, and it was just so wild being there. After that, we were free to explore as we liked. And after we left the Great Hall, it opened up into a wide room with different sections, all with different sets and props from the movies. Even though it was just one, big room, it felt so much bigger because there was just all these different sections, all these little ones. At different places, there were TVs playing behind-the-scene footage and interviews from the movies. There was just so much to see. It was almost a bit overwhelming, but I tried to make sure I saw everything there was to see. The room started the first instance of the stamp hunt, where we could collect some for a passport. Honestly, I'm so happy this was part of the experience because it was really fun looking out for these. And because of crowds of people and dark lighting, it was actually quite difficult to find a lot of them. Something I noticed is that a lot of props or sets were either a lot bigger or a lot smaller than I imagined, and it was just honestly unreal seeing them in person. As I walked in this room, it just really surprised me just how interactive of an experience this place was. Now, before I went here, I thought this would just be like a museum, but no, it was more like a theme park. Because in this big, wide room, besides the props and sets to look at, there were actually little attractions. Like, we could try to use magic on a broomstick.
fun, you just have to keep saying it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We took pictures like we were prisoners in Azkaban. And I even got to film a cringy, dumb video of myself flying on a broomstick. I know it looks so dumb. I know it's stupid. But honestly, I don't care. I don't care that it's dumb and kinda lame. I'm the otaku artist. I embrace cringe. It was fun and it was immersive, and I'm glad I did it. Now, something that doesn't translate over video is I did get to control how the broomstick moved. Like, if I leaned to the left, it would move that way, that kind of thing. And it was really cool. We spent a long time in this giant room because there was just so much to do there. And while we were in there, because it was close to Halloween at the time, they had an event going on where at random times, masked Death Eaters would come in, starting fights with wands and going up to people. And it was really cool and set the mood well. And I got a lot of cool pictures and videos of them. Working here seems like such a fun job, and the employees and actors did just a great job at making the experience memorable and immersive. As you can tell, I spent the most time in this one room. There was so much to see. Most of my footage is just from this one huge room, and I'm not even showing you guys everything. I tried to film everything there was to see, but because of some shoddy camera quality on my part, and how dark it was in the room, I wasn't able to include everything. Now, when I would watch the movies, I would think that the props, set design, costume design, etc. was really good. But actually seeing the stuff in person made me gain even more of an appreciation for it. On so many sets and props, there's so much detail put into them, some of which aren't even seen in the movies due to cut scenes or camera angles not showing it, and it's just incredible the work these people put into these films. Seriously, for me personally, and I've seen a good chunk of movies, like, I think this probably might be the series with the best set and, like, costume design I've ever seen. I'm sure there's other, like, really high budget movies out there that also have good ones. Like, I haven't actually seen Lord of the Rings or Star Wars at the moment, and I'm sure they probably have some really good ones. But out of all the movies I've seen personally, this is probably the best, no question. Especially just seeing how
a lot of these props and such are made out of such good material. Like, to put it into better words, like statues you see in the movie. You'd think that that's just plastic or like styrofoam or something. No, it's real. Like, it's really made like you would actually make an old statue. It's absolutely incredible. If you have the opportunity to go, I highly recommend going here. It's such a memorable experience and a really fun time, and absolutely worth it. If you're in London and you're a Harry Potter fan, please go here. Please go here. One unfortunate thing though is that the day I went, I actually was starting to get really sick. So by the end of the day, I was really exhausted. About halfway through the day, I had to like sit and take a breather for a while when we like ate. And I'll get into the food later in this video, but I was so tired. So I'm pretty sure they don't allow outside food and drinks in the place. So I recommend that if you're going, make sure you eat and drink lots of water before entering, because you can eat here. The food is quite good. But because there's so much to buy, like so much merch and stuff, I recommend that you eat before going. There's so much to see, and you'll be here for a long time, several hours, so make sure you come prepared. And also, don't be like me. If you plan on filming and taking pictures, get a good camera or phone that can take pictures of video of good quality in dark lighting. As unfortunately, I took all these videos and photos with an old phone of mine, and you can tell. But all of that aside, this place is awesome. It really blew me away. Like, I was expecting something really cool, and it went above. It far succeeded my expectations by a lot. I was just so impressed by the quality of the stuff made for this series, and also just how they made this be like a little theme park with all the interactive stuff. I really had a good time, as you can tell.
After spending a long time in that giant room, we journeyed into the Forbidden Forest. I loved how they set this place up. Now, it was very dark and they had like some fog machines going, so I didn't get great footage, unfortunately, but it was so immersive and really felt like we were there with the animatronics of the spiders and Buckbeak with the music and the fog. It just really set the stage well. After walking through the forest, we made our way into one of my favorite sets in the whole movie, Platform 9 3/4. This is a place I am so nostalgic for, and was one of my favorite places in the whole movie. We were even able to walk into the train and look into little sections of the car. There was a little mini shop selling wands, candies, little goodies like that, but the best part of this interactive attraction was when we got to ride the train. Now this was a really fun experience with my dad, like it was so immersive, and it really did a good job at making us feel like we were on a train. Also, if we're overacting, it's because there was like a lady like behind the camera who like gave us like hints at what to do. So that's why we kind of look silly, but it was so fun. After leaving platform 9 3/4, it opened up into an outside area along with a place to eat. I was actually really sick on this trip, so I needed a break. So we stopped to eat. But don't worry, me being sick didn't get in the way of me enjoying this experience too much. I may have not felt good physically, but I was having a blast mentally. I was having so good of time. So when we stopped to eat, I must have sat down on a chair for a good 40 minutes because the line was just so long. So I just want to say thanks Dad for standing in line for so long, because oh my gosh, it was a long wait, but it was worth it because the burger was really good. I was so surprised at the quality of the food, because normally when you go to a theme park or something like this, food is overpriced and not very good, but this was great. And I also had a butterbeer, and oh my god, it was amazing. And unlike the title suggests, it's not actual beer, and it was so good. I want another one. So after that short rest, we explored the outside, and I got to go inside the Dursleys, which was a much bigger set than I expected, as well as the bridge from the third movie, the bus, the garden area, and various props like Hagrid's motorcycle. I have to say, I was surprised at how small the bridge was from the third movie. I really thought that most of that was CGI'd, or that they just went to a real old bridge and then just used CGI to make it look a lot cooler or something. But no, it was fairly small. I really love how there was so much interactive stuff. In the garden area, we could pull up screaming little mandrakes and stuff like that.
Ready?
Past this area were other cool places, like Gringotts Bank, where we saw the dragon. There were rooms that focused on props of the movies and how they were made, which was pretty cool.
Man, she looks scary.
Looks real.
She looks like a corpse.
And another one of my favorite places in the series, Diagon Alley. This place was really dark for some reason. I don't know why they made it so dark in there. So unfortunately, the footage I have isn't very good, but I was like shocked. I was so surprised at how small the set was, since in the movies it seemed so big. But no, it was extremely tiny. It felt very miniature. The last part of the attraction before the gift shop at the end was a set of hallways with paintings that were concept art for the movies, that led up to a huge scale model of Hogwarts. I'd say that this was the least interesting part of the place since it wasn't very interactive or anything, but it was still so cool to see a ginormous replica of Hogwarts used for filming certain shots of the movies. Now this whole place just really puts into perspective just how much work, creativity, and people worked on these movies, and just how good of a job they did at making this world come to life. Now I said this before, but I'll briefly mention it again. Even though JK unfortunately turned out the way she did, I feel like we should still appreciate the other people who put so much work and skill in these movies. We can ignore her. Let's pretend Hatsune Miku made the books. You made the books, right, Miku? Yeah, we love Miku. She made Minecraft and now she made Harry Potter? What else can this girl do? With the attraction over, the journey ended with a gift shop that did a really good job at making you feel like you were in Ollivanders. Now this place was really overpriced and only offered a little bit of things that you could only get exclusively here. So yeah, if you come here, just be warned. So I didn't really get much stuff here. Like I was gonna try to get some butterbeer, but like they were charging like $15 for like 4 small bottles of it. So, the one thing I did get here though is I was able to fulfill a childhood dream of mine, which was getting my own robe with my name stitched onto it, which made me really happy. And I was impressed by how well made it is. Like, it's an actual piece of clothing. It's not like the Halloween costume you get just at one of the Halloween pop-up stores. So it was really cool. I'm just so happy and thankful I was able to go. This is an experience that will stick with me for the rest of my life, so I'm just really happy I was able to cross this off my bucket list. If you're a Harry Potter fan, seeing this on video just doesn't do it justice. Trust me, if you're able to go, please go in person. It does not compare to video, and just seeing all this stuff in person really immerses you and makes you feel like you're stepping into the films. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm really happy I could share this memorable experience. And thank you to my dad again for taking me here. It really is amazing just how much work was put into the movies through the actors, concept artists, prop designers, and more who created these films. And Hatsune Miku! I'm so proud of her for writing the books. If you'd like to support videos like this as well as other types of content I make like gaming stuff, art, and more, check out my Patreon, merch, socials, and more in the comment below. And make sure to check out the other vlogs in this mini-series of my trip to England if you missed them. And comment below if you've been here or just what's your experience with Harry Potter. What's your guys' Hogwarts house? Comment below. I'm a Ravenclaw. So, I'm the Otaku Artist, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!